Masechta Avoda Zara Daf Samach Hamad Aleph. We're starting from 3 lines from the bottom of Nun Tes Amid Beis. There was a story with a barrel of wine, the Ishtakal Varza, that the spigot was removed and the wine started to pour out from the spigot. The guy came and he jumped on a and he placed his hands on the hole to hold back the wine from falling out. Amr Papa. Papa said, everything that is in the pipe coming out of the spigot, that's usher. But whatever is left over in the barrel, whatever's in the barrel, sorry, is mutim to drink. Because the wines on the sides are not connected to the spigot pipe from which the wine comes out. The Gemara brings down, others say, Papa said, till from the top of the barrel till the spigot where the wine comes out, that's asa, because it's connected to the spigot. Whatever's below this spigot, whatever wine is below this spigot level, that shari is mutter even to drink. Explains the words of Papa. He says it's telling the machliks of Tanaim. The words of Papa is not according to everybody. Rather, it's telling the machliks of Tanaim. Now, we learned the Mishnah Chavis, a barrel, and in it was wine of Truma Shenakva, which there was a hole in it. Whether the hole was on the top of the barrel or on the bottom of the barrel, whether it was on the side of the barrel, and one who was Tamei, who actually was Tevel himself, but he has to wait to hire of Shemesh till the sun goes down in order to be tired. So before the sun went down, he touched the wine, Tmei, it's Tamei. Rabbi Yehuda says, on the top and the bottom holes, Tmei, if he touches it, it's Tamei. Mitzida, but what's if the hole is on the side, Taira? The economy come from the two sides of the hole of the one on the side is Torah. What's the reason? Because the wine on the sides are not considered as connected to the rest of the wine in the barrel. But Chacham argue, and Chacham said all the wine in the barrel is all connected to each other. Amr Papa said, if the guy was pouring out of the barrel wine, he saw and the Yid was holding on to the pitcher, receiving the wine. The wine is aser. My time, what's the reason? When the wine is coming into the pitcher, it's it's coming out of the keich of a guy. Because the guy is pouring it from the barrel. And we learn if it comes from a guy, we make the achaka, like by Nazir, we say, go around the vineyard. So to here, we're going to ask it when the guy's koyach is pouring the wine from the barrel into his pitcher. Yisol Adonah, but what's with the Yid's koyach is pouring the wine into the guy's pitcher, the guy is holding on to the pitcher. The wine is then mutter, even to drink. Since this eifin, it's coming into the pitcher of the Yid. He mitzad sadudei, and if the guy had it tilted to the side, it's us because it's like mishachshech. He's stirring the wine when it's tilted to the side, and therefore it's going to be aser, even aser to drink, but you can sell it. This guy that was carrying a canteen that has wine, because he saw Lachide, and the Yid is going behind him, and he sees the guy's not touching the wine. If it's malya, if it's filled with wine, shari, then the wine is mutter. It's because it's not there's no room for the wine to shake because the canteen is filled with wine. I say that, but what's if the wine? If there's missing wine in the canteen, also because there's room for it. Maybe the wine is being shook by through the kaich of the guy. That's why it's going to be Yasser. Where are you meeting up in Kuba, a gig is a pitcher, Malya, that was filled with wine. Aser, it's forbidden to drink. We have to be worried. Maybe the guy touched the wine when he placed his finger into the tip of the pitcher. But if it's Chaseida, Shari. If it's missing, it's Munta because the guy is not going to want to stick his hand further deeper to reach the wine. The loinaga, we don't have to worry that he touched it because while he's trying, the yid will see and stop him. Ravashi Amar and Zika Menegeya to the canteen, whether it's filled, whether it's not filled, shari it's mutter. My time, what's the reason? Because it's not the derech of Nisach Hamayayin to the Avoda zara with a canteen, shaking the canteen with the wine in it. The Matzah Zaina said you want it with those the boards that they placed on the grapes. So they could either step on the boards to squeeze the grapes or use their hands to pressure the boards. That's koyach. Then you have koyach that you had it like a screw that you would turn on top of the boards and the screw would push the boards down. That's koyach. So Papa said by if it was using a board, it's mutter Ravashi. We take Ravashi also. Ravashi and others said Ravashi says it's also. So the Gemara explains where's the machlekes bekoichai in the oven that the guy directly stepped on the boards to squeeze the wine. That's not where the machlekes was. If the guy directly stepped on the boards, everybody agrees it's asa. Keep clear where they are in the case of koyach where he used the screw to tighten it, to squeeze, to push down the boards. Everybody the others say, everybody agrees it's mutter. Keep leaving the koyach. Where they are arguing, if it's directly from his koyach, that if he goes on the board itself, there's a machlekes whether it's going to be mutter or not. However, there was a story with a guy that squeezed out grapes in a vat, and Yaakov from the city, from the place called Menachapekei, asked the wine, and there was talking about koyach. There was a story. There was a barrel of wine, the park that was split down in the length of the whole barrel. In the guy jumped. And he hugged the whole barrel so it shouldn't fall into two pieces, and the whole wine shouldn't fall out. They allowed him to sell to a guy because this guy wasn't mishachshach as hayayin, but it's also because the whole wine, it's like he touched it. It's all intact because mamish he was holding it together. When was this said that the yain was to drink only the pakei, only if it's split throughout the whole length of the barrel? But if it was split in the width, after the mishnah shari even to drink in his mutter. My time, what's the reason? Because it's not that he didn't really save the barrel. He was just he was sitting on the barrel as a replacement of putting a heavy stone on the top of the barrel to keep it on the top half on the bottom half. So therefore, it's not as if he's touching it. But when it's split in the length, that it's all dependent on the guy holding it together, hugging it and holding it together, that it shouldn't fall apart. That there was this guy standing by the vat of a Jew, and there wasn't wine. There was only a little bit of dampness of wine. If there was enough wine that if you would touch it, it would make something else wet, then you would need rinsing or niguf, and you would also need to scrub it down with ash and water and scrub it down. But if it didn't have enough wine that if you touched it, it would make somebody else wet, so then with just rinsing it would have been sufficient. Sagt the Mishnah, a guy that was found standing in the house of a Yid at the side of his vat of a Jew, and it's not known if the guy touched it. If the Yid owes this guy money, usher. It's us to have any hana from this wine because the guy is not afraid to touch the wine. He'll say this wine is owed to him against the loan, so he's not afraid if he tells him something. But if he doesn't have a loan against this, the guy doesn't have a loan, meaning that the Yid doesn't owe money, mutter, then you're allowed to drink it even because the guy's afraid to touch it. It's not his. Not for the beir, if the guy fell into the vat filled with wine and he came out, or or he measured with a pole stick how much wine there was in the vat, or she hit this as satira, or he used the pole stick to kill this wasp, with a stick, or he used his hands to remove the bubbles that were fermenting from the wine. All these cases were incidents that happened. And the Chacham said, you can sell it to a guy. Shimon is mata even to drink it. Says the Mishnah, no, talak goyis hachabis, uzak b'chamasei, lebesh oyayin. If a guy out of anger grabbed this barrel and he threw it out of anger into the vat, this was an incident, and the Chacham were machshir the wine to even drink it, because this throwing doesn't ask it through the concept of yayin nesach. Shmuel said who, and this din was said after. That this that we said, a guy that was standing at the side of the barrel of wine, that it's going to be aser. It's only if he had a lien on specifically on that wine. So we have a raya from the Mishnah, the Tnan that we learned from the Mishnah, that was trotting over the grapes of a guy to make from it kosher wine. The Yid did a deal with the guy. I'll make it Yiddish wine. I'll sell it to the Yid. So the Yid did the stamping on the grapes. And the Yid would put it back into the rishus of the guy. And the guy wrote a mashtars if he received money so that the Yid can come in anytime and take it, then mutter. Then the wine is mutter, and because the guy cannot hold it back. But what if the Yid wants to be able to take out the wine that he squeezed out with his feet, and it's in the guy's shoes, and the guy doesn't let him take it out till he pays him? This was a story in the Beishah. We also the Chacham asked the wine because the yain was meshubit as a chayv. He had to pay the guy, so the guy is not afraid to use it for nisuch hayayin because he says if the Yid has any tightness, I'll say it's mine. It's like you want to time the whole reason is because the guy doesn't allow him to take it when the Yid wants. But if the guy would allow him, that was the condition. The wine would be mutter. The only way that the wine would be aser is if they had a lien against that specific wine. We learned to the Mishnah, a guy that fell into the vat filled with wine and he came out. Only if he came out dead, then it's mutter the wine. But if he came out alive, also the wine is also even not my time. What's the reason our Papa said that? Because this by the guy is considered as a holiday. But since he was saved from a sakana, so he's thanking. It's a thanks to his getchke. That's why it has a thing like in this chayayin and it's asa. The Mishnah if you measure with a pole, all these incidents, all these cases were incidents that happened. To sell the wine to a guy, but it's also the drink. Shimon allows it to be, it allows it to drink it. May it rest on Shimon the blessings on his head. Because he was very clear. When he was matir completely, to drink even. When he asked him even the bana. That the halach is like Shimon, that it's mutter even to drink. You can have me others say that Rav Chizda didn't hear it from Zeidei. Rav Chizda, Amali Abba Bachanan, Hachi Amazidei, halach Rav Shimon. So says Zeidei, the halach is like Rav Shimon, and the Gemara concluded, the halach is not like Rav Shimon. We learned in the Mishnah, a guy that took a barrel of zakah, out of anger he threw it, labor into the vat of wine. This was an incident that happened. The Chacham were mashed with the wine. Avashi explains why. Avashi calls him Zav Tamei. Any way that a Zav is Matam is something that's tahor, that whether it's with his hand, whether through a stick. I say Yain Nesach. Is by the same thing. Okay, that through touching the wine, whether through his hand or his stick, it becomes Yain Nesach. But anything that by Yazav is not Matam, like if he threw a person threw item or kli, it doesn't become tamei. So too by yayin nesach, or by a guy, it won't. If the guy threw the chayfetz into the wine, the yayin doesn't become yayin nesach. Eisei Rav Rashi Rav Huna Yisrael Kasher Rav Ashi Geisha Dr. Sarchaso Chavis Uzak Bachamasul Lebeir. A guy that took a chavis and he threw it at Ranga into the vat. This was a story in Beishan, and the Chacham Ramash the wine. So he was medayik, but only if he did it out of anger, then the chavis is mutter, the yain is mutter. But if he threw shalei b'chamasa not out of anger, like the wine is not mutter. So you have a raya from here that a guy that throws a chayfetz into the wine does become usher, and you said it doesn't, compared to a zav. So if you want to hasam, it's talking about the kazam minei, that he didn't actually throw it, he pushed it and rolled, and he had time to touch it. So since there was time for him to touch it, so we're chesh that he touched it, and that's why it's still going to be yasa. But when he threw it out of anger, they didn't have a chance to touch it.